Hi, I'm Fran with Stampendous, and I'd love to show you some tips for our bird blossom set. We have the beautiful cling rubber stamps, and if you're not familiar with our cling rubber, you'll see that the index is very durable on this side so that you can see exactly where you're going, and your handles are sold separately. Press them onto a block, and you're going to get a very deep etch, a close trim, and you're going to be able to see exactly where you're placing it from the index on this side of the block. So each of the stamps in the set will come together, and you also have a free stencil. And the stencil is a clear material, so make sure you don't miss it in the package. And the way we've made them is that you can simply pull the little tiny bridges and pop out each of the pieces. And in most cases, we're giving you both the positive shape, like this one fits the flower, and we're giving you the window shape. And you can use those interchangeably to speed up the process of masking or coloring. You'll see that we also have the cutting dies set. And on each of our dies, it's nice now, they're on the liner in a way that they pop off without even the little glue dots. And all of our dies have the cutting edge to the inside. So when you place it on top of the image, like you can see here, you should move it around until you're not seeing any heavy black on any edge, and then you're going to have the perfect position for die cutting. So we give you all of these pieces, and you're also going to see on the back of each package a lot of beautiful ideas that we'll take a closer look at as we go along. So we're again going to use our mixed media white paper, and we also really enjoy it for all different types of markers, watercolor, color pencil. It's the most versatile paper and is a really good value. I designed the bird stamp in such a way that you could color it different colors, and it could be just about any bird you want it to be. And I would encourage you to find some reference material. This was a book of my mom's that has all sorts of photographs of birds, and you can begin to see how the male and female markings are often different, but you can study colors and really pick out and color things that are going to really look like all of these different birds. I also have enjoyed this Birds and Blooms magazine, and it gives me a lot of beautiful photography to work from. And here was one that I found, this beautiful Baltimore Oriole, and I'm doing some coloring here. So let's come in a little bit closer. But you can see my whole array here. I've got my Copic markers, I've got Spectrum Noir, Chameleon, and any different system that you'd like to use, or your color pencils. It helps to have a reference point to really take a closer look. So I've started with some of my lighter colors, and let's see, let's add a little bit more color here and there, but simply by doing some light strokes of color and then working to your darker colors, you can see how quite often the feathers on the breast are a little bit darker. And if you color over the lines, it's going to make it just that much easier when you go to die cut it. So don't worry about that. And now let's come in with some of our darkest colors here and add a little bit more to the wings. So again, I can reference the picture here, and even if it's a little bit different angle, it's still going to get me going here with doing the last details here that are going to add dimension to my Baltimore Oriole. So sometimes just light strokes and filling it in is going to be the most feather-like. So lots of fun for coloring all different kind of birds, and then you can see how I'm starting to develop all of my peonies and the leaves And let's just add a little bit more. And my style for coloring is to leave some white of the paper showing, and that is going to give you your highlights, and I just think it lets your colors breathe a little bit to have some white showing. So I skip around and just add some darker colors here and there. But any different color scheme you like will work. Here you can see a variety of cards where with different prints and colors and color pencils or markers, you can do a lot of beautiful and varied looks with your birds. And I even did one like a little bird journal here where I could begin to document what birds we've seen in the backyard. And my mom loves her gardens, and so we enjoy seeing the birds on the bird bath outside. And so there's lots of card options, and most of these are flat or your little journal type books, but you can also enjoy using the pop-up card and die to create a beautiful look here of some pop-up cards. Here you can see I've just tucked the bird in behind the flowers, and another one here as well. So flowers can be in front or behind, on the tabs, or just in the background. Let's talk about some mixed media options. I've got a little journal going here where I like the weight of the paper that is nice to do printing on, and using the Creative Palette I did an interesting background that in and of itself didn't look that interesting, but this is going to give me a really nice background to do some stamping and then to do some other things with my birds. So let's take a look here, and on this one I stamped onto some darker colors that had some metallic copper, and die cutting that's going to be really fun. And this one, again, this print wasn't very interesting overall, but I captured the nice part of the yellows here, and I can certainly come back in with my color pencils and add some more detail now that I know kind of how that's hitting the color. You can add a lot of layers and more colors and have a lot of fun with that. And if you want to go to some deeper colors, you can really see such a variety of options and stamp on the part of the page that's going to look the most interesting. And for my flowers as well, if you don't really enjoy doing very specific coloring, take a look at how easy this is. Again, this print was acrylic paint, and it was quite textured, and I just did a small size and made a couple of prints. But look how easy that is now for your leaves, to do that on some greens. And here with the pinks, I've stamped my flowers, and already that gives me some beautiful shading. And if I take my color pencils, I can go back in and enhance just a little bit here and there. That's going to give some more depth to some of the petals, to push some back and bring some others forward just by the bit of color pencil work that I add to it. But it doesn't take long at all to create a really fun look. And I'm going to add all of these different elements once I die cut them to my journal pages. And I think that's going to give me a very nice overall look with colors that I might not have tried otherwise. If you want more of a vintage paper look, you can take your coffee splattered papers and do a little bit of stamping. The postcard backgrounds are kind of fun in your brown and black inks. And now this little die cut bird is really going to be fun to superimpose and get a whole different look with the mixed media options. With the magnetic plate, that helps to line up all of my dies, and we'll do some cutting. So whatever your look and style, you can enjoy the birds and make a Stampendous impression every time.